and not regularly scheduled, not regularly hosted episode of the Elseworlds Exchange. I am your regular host, Sal, and I'm joined today by Mechanic Jay. Jay, thank you so much for being here today.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you. And wouldn't you know it, if you are an eagle-eyed ComicPop fan, you have recognized this gentleman here. He's been on several episodes of Back Issues over on youtube.com/ComicPop. You were on Vader's Quest, which is one of our funniest episodes.
Definitely.
Terminator 2.
Yes, another good one.
And others.
And the Star Wars What If one.
Oh God, yes, you did two, and we lost
one.
So
yes, I still cry about that.
Yeah, me too.
That was probably one of the funniest hour and a half I have ever spent in my life. It was amazing. No. Oh. And sorry for everyone who will never get to experience it.
Yeah, you'll never see it.
Never see it.
So there you have it. But yeah, so today we're going to be answering a time-honored question. What's your favorite Star Trek movie? And it's not going to be that easy. I know a lot of people in the chat definitely have already gotten theirs. And I know it's not a regular topic, but we're easing you in to other forms of conversation that maybe you're interested in, or maybe you might become interested in the future. From the passion by which we will discuss these subjects. I myself, this is a thing where in another reality, if I had known that podcasting was going to be ever a thing, we would have done this years ago, because you own a Star Trek t-shirt. you nerd.
Guilty.
But you actually watched all of it before I ever even watched any of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember, I think I remember trying to sell you on Star Trek, when we first met sometime in the last millennia.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, Star Trek's cool. And you're like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm different enough. I don't need the added stigma of being a Star Trek fan. I'm already a Star Wars fan, and it's already rough enough.
Yeah.
I don't need more boring Star Wars in my life, was I think one of my...
Yes, that's exactly what you said.
And then I watched TNG, and I'm like, oh. And the reality is, that's how I always say I got into Star Trek. But the fact is, I got into Star Trek through the original movies.
Really?
Yes. Of course, I watched the Whales one, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Right. I watched the Whales one first out of all of them, and it's obviously the most accessible.
Right.
Out of any Trek, because it's just so grounded.
Yeah. And there's you don't need to know a whole lot, right? Because it's just like the mission is to save the whales, and there's these like space people that come in. Right.
It's a mission that we can all get behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Save the whales.
Save the whales.
But that's funny. I didn't even think of that, because that has been a platitude for like 50 years to save the whales, and yet I didn't think of it as that kind of movie. Like, that's what the movie is. Just save the whales. It's like hug a tree or save the rainforest. Like, where's that Star Trek movie? Right. But yeah, I watched that, and it wasn't the whales as much as it was the camaraderie. By the time we got to 4, the original movies cast had gelled so perfectly that their camaraderie was second nature, and it was infectious, and I wanted to understand it. I wanted to be a part of the family at that point.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I felt when I watched that movie, and that's what got me. And then I saw 4, I saw 6, I saw 3, 5. I think I saw 5 before 3.
Okay.
And I've never seen the first one, because I understand it's like 5.5 hours long.
Right. I don't think that's true.
And 4 hours and 45 minutes is just the ship.
Because I think I've tried to show it to you.
And here's the thing. We've tried to show each other many a movie and fallen asleep while watching them. I feel like Star Trek is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
Because I saw Red Letter Media do a video about like a retrospective on the motion picture, and I didn't recognize from their outfits to the plot. Like, I know about it is Voyager. That's the closest thing. And I'm like, I'm out.
It's like, so do you know how Star Trek the Motion Picture came into being?
I understand it was a show. The plan was the next show.
Yes.
And they scrapped it, and they went, oh, just grab the bones of what that was and hobble it into a film.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, crap. Apparently, space movies are big now. Look at this Star Wars thing.
Exactly.
And yeah, like the plot was not great, and yeah, the uniform it's really out there. It is a singular movie.
Yes, it's a singular movie in those movies. Like they're not even really like the militarization of Starfleet comes after the first movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, even in the original series, which I've seen a handful of episodes for, because again, I'll watch it and my eyes just glaze over. I'm only interested in the movies. But which is the inverse of my TNG love, where I'm like, those movies are horrible. I'm only interested in the show.
Right.
But yeah, like the original series, like they had standard attention, military regimens, like rations, like the whistle and everything. And then in the first one, everyone's just swinging in the 70s. Everyone's just free balling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they got their great polyester laser shoots in space. It's great. Yeah.
Why? Yeah, and then like the second one comes around and they're like, all right, get stuffed into some wool uniforms.
Right.
Everyone just jam yourself into it.
Right. Which, by the way, those uniforms are fantastic. Like, out of all the Trek uniforms, the original series movie uniform, like that we see in 2 through 6, is just, I think they're fabulous. I love the look.
Every time they show up in another Star Trek thing, I clap my hands.
I know, me too.
Like fanboy. Like, I'm just thinking of the USS Bozeman, Captain.
I was just going to say that, yes. And he showed. Yes.
That's an episode, and like because this is all over the place, I will mention it. The episode of TNG, they're in temporal causality loop. It's Groundhog Day in Star Trek. That's the episode. Right. So sold. Like you got to watch it.
Oh yeah. Totally.
But at the end, the problem is they always blow up because they smash into another ship. Turns out at the end that ship was caught in a temporal causality loop for like 86 years or something like that, and
they had no idea.
And they had no idea because
what a terrible crew! Like
our crew recognized it within 3 weeks. That crew is in 87 years worth of a loop. Are you kidding me? Like Morgan Bates was the worst captain in Starfleet history, and they kept the Bozeman in service, and they kept him going because like the Bozeman is at Wolf 359, like.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that.
As I understand, if it's not at Wolf 359, it's definitely in First Contact at the battle with the God.
Okay.
And it's like, what? Like,
do I have to go watch First Contact again now?
Well, you only have to pull up that one scene. I mean, like,
yeah.
Although, if I were to pull up any TNG movie, that's the one I guess I'd watch. Though I have seen Insurrection, and I'm like, this is the best movie because it's like a boring episode of the original show. But anyway,
but so my path
please,
for watching the Trek movies was similar to yours. It was kind of all over the place. Right, because when we were young, right, a movie would be on the television,
natural on WPX Channel 11 Saturday afternoon movie.
Exactly. Yes. I'll watch this, right? And
and my options were either to watch it or go outside, which I'm never going to do.
Yeah, I was going to do that, or So I watched my first Star Trek was actually 5. Star Trek.
Oh, that's cool because I have a soft spot for 5.
I do too, but not only because it was my first Trek. Okay, so I remember watching it and. Being enamored, I'm like, what is this? This is incredible.
Yes.
Right? And I must have been like, I don't know, 8, right?
Okay.
Watching Star Trek 5, I'm like, this is just...
Yeah.
And I don't remember the order of any of the rest of them that I saw. But I saw the here, there, the other one. Except that I saw 6 when I had seen all of the rest of them. When 6 finally came out, I saw 6 when it was new.
Oh wow!
And so that was cool as an experience.
Yeah,
I didn't see it in the theater, unfortunately. Okay. That would have been cooler.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I don't think I've the first time I saw a Star Trek movie in the theater was with the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah. I saw Generations in the theater.
I did not. I didn't see any of them in the theater. Turning up my volume a little bit. Trying to...
Yeah, I could turn mine down too.
Oh yeah, okay. You know what it is? It might be my gain. Let me turn my gain.
Right, well, I can turn mine. I have a knob here. I can turn mine down.
Yeah. Turn your knob.
I'll turn mine down. You turn yours up, and then you'll be too loud.
In the middle.
Be quiet. Yeah.
All right. We've done it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, so you saw 6. Well, you saw 5, then
the rest of them in there, and then
some order,
right in some order, and then I saw 6, and then of course I saw all the TNG movies and the new movies as they came out. And,
yep.
But yeah, no, 5 just sticks with me as my first Trek, and then I remember like hearing in the world as I got older, right? That like, oh, that's the worst one. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I just didn't quite and like I understand why people say that 5 is the worst one.
Yes. Well, but, because they've always seen 2.
Right. Yeah. But there's a lot of really good stuff in 5.
I think so too. We need to get into it because 5 because I saw on Twitter someone say that Star Trek 3 could all agree that 3 is better than 5. And I'm like, "Fie! Absolutely not. 3 is borderline unwatchable." And it does a few things. It does a few things that are like, yeah, of course. 1, cast Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon.
Right. Which should have been really fun.
Should have been, and yet is not. At this point, like, Christopher Lloyd is... we're getting to the point... I think 3 has got to be, like, early 80s, right? Like...
Oh,
or at least 85? Because it's got to be pre... Is it pre-Back to the Future?
Is it? I don't... See, this is funny because I meant to pull up a list of all the movies and their release dates before we started.
84! It is!
84. Okay.
So it's not even...
That's just pre-Back to the Future.
Right?
Probably the thing he did right before.
Yeah, so it's Taxi, and then it's Trek 3, and then he's Doc Brown and Judge Doom.
Right. Nice.
Judge Doom, because it's like such a transformation from like to Judge Doom. It's like, but yeah. But so there's that, and then of course killing Kirk's son, who is terrible.
Yeah, who cares?
It's sad because his death is so unremarkable, but then you think so is he, so it's okay, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, there is a tragedy in the unremarkable death, right?
Yeah, and it's felt in 6. It takes 3 more movies for anyone to give a shit.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like, everyone's talking about their pain in 5. His son does not come up.
Yeah. That's actually really... Well, it doesn't come up because Kirk's like, screw you.
Don't touch me.
I need my pain.
Yeah, but that's all he says.
Right. Which, we get it. That's another thing about 5, right? Like, that whole, like, pain, and then Kirk, like, no, I need my pain. It makes me who I am, right? Like,
yeah.
Now, when I was younger, I'm like, oh, whatever, that's dumb. Now that I'm a little older, I'm like, I think maybe Kirk's got a point. I mean...
no, that's the thing, is that,
that might actually be a movie for, like, old people more middle-aged and moving on through life, right?
Honestly, like, I'm glad that it took me so long to watch Trek 2, to watch Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
Because I don't think I would have appreciated it as much when I was a kid. I was like a hoity-toity film buff back in the day, and I would have like tried to understand it or appreciate it, but like I would have been like, it's so overrated. But there's something about the sequence between whoever the hell's talking to Kirk at the end. I think it's his wife or something, and he said, and he, oh no, it's got to be Bones, and he says, "How do you feel?" And he says, "Young." I feel young.
Yeah.
But he's like crying, and I'm like, the scene where he says, "How do I feel?" Like, oh god, I'm trying to remember the line. I want to get it right because it's like such a great line where he's talking, where he's how do I feel? I'm being pursued by a man who I haven't seen in years, is trying to kill me. You show me a son who'd be happy to help him. How do I feel? I feel old and worn out.
Right.
And then at the end when he says, "I feel young," and I'm like, oh, like I would give anything to feel that way again. It's like, I don't really feel like an old worn out shoe like Kirk does, but like in that moment, I am with him in that moment, and I'm like,
yeah,
so
definitely.
good. And it's like, it's a thing that if you're 17 and you're watching that movie, you're like, I feel young. Yeah, I feel like young all the time. I'm masturbating 6 times a day. I'm sleeping, like 4 hours a night. I'm up all night. I'm doing everything.
You got this freaking old geezer over here. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
whatever. 4 eyes with your it's coming through now, con. Like, okay, I'll be young forever. Haha. Like, no.
So I like 3. Here's the one thing I like about 3.
Mm-hmm.
I like 3 in the sequence of 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So the cool thing to me about that is that however much time elapses between 2, 3, and 4,
right,
we're not really sure, except the events from 1 roll right into the next and right into the next.
No,
so
it's true.
At a certain point, you're like, wow, this is like the most screwed up week in these people's lives.
No, it's seriously, when you're especially because 4 is most people's first Trek movie, and as a result, it's like they're not even, the Enterprise isn't in that movie.
No.
Like, Spock's walking around with a bathrobe all the whole damn movie, and they're flying a bird of prey.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that is a messed up week. Bones literally he relived the no, he hasn't gotten there yet. No, it's like Bones went nuts, expelled Spock, like they killed Spock, he took over Spock, he expelled Spock, all in 1 week. Like, it's
That
was
great.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And okay. The couple of things I do like in 3 are, here is the best part about 3, and that is where Bones goes crazy with Spock in his head.
Yep.
And when they break Bones out of jail.
Yes.
and Sulu like beats up the giant guard and says, "Don't call me Tiny."
You've been quoting "Don't Call Me Tiny" since I met you, and I didn't get the reference until I finally, like, I saw it, and he goes, "Don't call me Tiny." I'm like, hey, that's what Jason says all the time. I had no idea. But when it happened, it has so much weight and gravitas because you had been making that reference for so long.
Yeah, I'm sure most people who see that, they're like, that's entertaining. That's kind of funny. Yeah.
Right.
But for me, it's like my favorite Sulu line.
Yeah.
Outside of in 6 when Praxis blows up and he's like, "Oh my." Right.
Oh no, my favorite is in 6 when he goes, "Fire apart then."
Yes. Yeah. Captain Sulu in 6 is like,
Captain Sulu in 6 is a baller, and it's great because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because he hates Shatner so fucking much that he's like, I won't even share the room with him. So put me on the bridge of another ship. I'll talk to him through a fucking window.
Yeah, that could be. I mean,
if you read you've read his book, right? Like,
I've read his book.
He's a piece of shit. I hate him. Like,
yeah. The funny thing is, like, Shatner's response to that is like, I don't understand what's happening here.
I've read his reaction to that where he's like, I always liked working with George, so I don't know why he's such a, like, why he hates me so much. Like, I've never had a problem with him. And it's like, well, apparently he had a problem with you. You probably said some off-color gay jokes at his expense, you thoughtless jackass.
Right.
Like, who knows what they did. But yeah, I feel bad because, like, I want to believe they're all like friends. Like, you watch the cast of TNG whenever they get together, like, oh, hello, friends. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the old cast that's still alive is just like, I don't want to see them. Like that movie Galaxy Quest is like, it wouldn't exist if it weren't for the fact that the cast hated each other for like a good 10 years.
Right. Did you ever see the Star Trek Voyager episodes where they end up going back into Tuvok's mind and you're on the Excelsior with Sulu again?
Yes, and only because my wife is a big Voyager fan. And
well, good for her.
Yeah, I know. And she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, we're talking about our favorite Treks." Like, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, Voyager." And I'm like, "Nah." Then I remembered, like, "Oh yeah, don't be a freaking nerd or she'll leave." But and when I say nerd, I mean in a disparaging way, where it's like, Voyager's the worst one. It's like, listen, we can all agree that Picard is the worst one.
Yeah.
I mean,
it hurts to say.
In Enterprise, Scott Bakula's in it. At the very least, there'll be a chance that he'll sing. But that's for you Quantum Leaper fans out there. Which, by the way, did you hear they're bringing it back?
I am astounded.
Like, not just they're bringing it back. They filmed it. It's coming out. Like, it's filmed, and I'm like,
wow.
And it's gonna be on television, not like Peacock or whatever.
Television. So I could hook an antenna up to the screen over here and have
Unfortunately, they stopped broadcasting television, so you'll have to hook up a cable of some kind. But it will be on television. But anyway, but Quantum Leap's another episode which we'll have to get into when the show comes out. Did you watch? Are you a Leaper? Did you watch Quantum Leap?
I watched quite a bit of Quantum Leap. I'm not a super fan of Quantum Leap the way some people on this video are.
I met one of my girlfriends thanks to Quantum Leap. On the internet.
Indeed.
Yeah, which led me down a merry chase.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
like it. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it was good. I watched more MacGyver, which may not surprise you.
Yeah. No. Did you watch Stargate afterwards?
I didn't watch Stargate. No, I never got into Stargate.
Neither did I. That's another one that Tiffany's a huge fan of, is Stargate.
Yeah. Like, I remember watching the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie, but I never got into the series.
I saw the movie because our mutual friend Tim had a VHS copy in his house lying around. And so I was like, well, this looks cool. He's like... I remember I'd seen a lot of movies at his house, like Predator, Aliens. Like, he had these movies. So I'm like, fuck yes. I'm like, hey, this movie has like spaceships and shit. Stargate, let's watch it. It's pretty lame. And we put it on, and halfway through, I'm like, this is very lame. And,
I remember I watched Stargate with my mom. We went down to the Blockbuster and rented the tape.
Ooh. See, you should have just come over to Tim's house. We could have watched it on a small television. But so let's talk about some super chats really quick. Let's get it. Let's
sure. Sorry.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the show and you want to sponsor today's show, you can do so by using super chats. Ask a question or comment. We're going to hear on the show. Like your boy Chip Sohoy says, not a big Trekkie. Oh well, that's not going to work out for it. No, but this might help me get in. Either way, I'm here for ComicPop After Hours. Nice. That's right. Yeah, we are After Hours. Going to get a little blue in here. Ray Farr, a ComicPop episode about Star Trek. Make it so. Hey,
nice.
I will make it so. The motion picture is my personal favorite of the TOS, and for TNG, the Best of Both Worlds Part 2, or the two-parter, is the best movie. Easily.
Oh, okay. So I hadn't even considered two-part episodes.
Yeah, that's because that doesn't count.
Movie.
But did we see it? Did we watch it? Were you around when we watched when Fathom Events did Best of Both Worlds, both parts in the theater? Yeah, I know I saw that.
Did not know that.
So there we go. Yes, I did see the best Star Trek movie, or the best TNG Star Trek movie in theaters. It was just the Best of Both Worlds Part 2 and 2. By the way, you know what episode was on the other day on Pluto TV, on the Star Trek Nonstop TNG channel?
Yes.
But it was the episode where Worf is quantum leaping through different multiverses.
That's a great episode.
It's such a great episode. But there's an episode, but there's a reality that he ends up on where they killed Picard. It's the alternate version of the end of Best of Both Worlds where Riker fires and they kill him on the Borg ship.
I don't remember that.
Like it's.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, he marries.
I have all the DVDs right there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's great because they pulled TNG from Netflix and put it on Paramount Plus or something.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch it on demand, you have to pay Paramount Plus, which I'm never gonna do. Because I'm not going to spend $100 a month to watch all these streaming services. But yeah, no. Well, there were subtle hints where they were like, hey, where's Picard? And he's like, oh, he didn't make it in our conflict with the Borg. Like, and there's like a subtle hint. And I'm like, I think it's that, like, this is the reality where they kill him. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool, but
yeah, but
thank God we're going back to the other one, the other real reality.
best part is Patrick Stewart's portrayal of Picard during that show, where in that episode, because like that's the bridge that he stays on for most of the episode, but all the other Enterprise are popping up in their reality, and they chat with Picard Prime, like with our Picard, and Riker goes, "It's really good to see you again, Captain," and Picard gives him nothing.
Right.
He has this look on his face, like, okay,
right,
turn off the screen. Like, I don't want to fucking even think about.
I don't want to know.
I don't even want to know. Radical Radish says, "This is a fun surprise. Evening, peoples. Hope everyone's having a good night. You too, Radical Radish.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for watching, man."
Thanks.
Cozen, this is an evolution of ComicPop Nights. Could be real. Here's for the Midnight Oil. Well, thank you, Cozen, for your support and for checking us out. Yeah, I used to, during the lockdowns, I would just like randomly pop on at like midnight and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on? We're just gonna keep it smooth." That was when I had just nothing going on.
Smooth evenings with Sal.
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Girk Pectus says, "Most fans hate First Contact because the stupid Borg Queen ruined Borg, but it was the movie that made me a Star Trek fan, so I love it despite its many flaws." Yeah, I liked First Contact.
Yeah. I did too. Yeah, like it does have, it is absolutely a flawed movie in a lot of ways, but there's also a lot of really fun moments in it.
Yeah.
And like overall the story is solid.
Yeah.
Right. And there's not like gaping plot holes, or it's well done.
Yeah.
It's just there's characterization issues. It's mostly characterization issues that really get me in that movie, where like
that, and like they have this weird there was a period in like the 90s where they would just like, I don't know, like where certain movie producers got really hung up on actors, where they were like, "Oh my god, like we have this actor." And like I remember there being like an entire featurette for Alien Resurrection where they were like, "We got Winona Ryder in this movie." And I'm like, listen, I love Winona Ryder. She's terrible in this movie. I wouldn't dedicate an entire feature to like this. But they did the same thing where they got Alfre Woodard to play Lily, the 21st century chick that Picard brings onto the bridge of the Enterprise.
Right.
And like Alfre Woodard is great in like Lean on Me and like other movies that she is in that are not Star Trek. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whenever they get Alfre Woodard, they're like, "We got Alfre. And I'm like, she's good. But why are you guys like freaking out over how great she is?" Like, although she was on the Luke Cage show and she was really, really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a show you'll never watch, but it's really
never see that.
It's really solid. But Lily sucks in that movie, and it's really frustrating.
Right. Yes.
You broke your little ships.
I knew you were going to say that.
That was the first moment from a Star Trek movie I had ever seen. Was Picard going, "No! No!" and then smashing the ships. And because Jonathan Frakes directed that movie, and he is two takes Frakes, that movie was tight. Like he knew from directing episodes of TNG and I guess DS9 and other shows, that he's like, if I want to be able to work more and get behind the camera, or get behind the camera more, I need to show I can be like on budget, on time, trim. So he was like, 2 takes, we got it. Like, especially because it's like, I know they've been working on this show for 8 years.
Right.
If they do the scene, I got it.
Right.
But yeah, 2 take Frakes. But so he's supposed to smash the ships. Those ships are supposed to be smashed when he does that, and they don't smash. and they're like, "Fuck it."
Right.
Well, we already broke the glass twice. That's it.
Right. We're not going to get it. That's it.
That's it. We're just going to have to pretend that he smashed them. Like, never mind the fact that Picard's a psychopath. It's just like, who murdered Ensign Lynch?
Yeah, that's the real thing that bothers me about that movie. Just is Picard feels very out of character, which is very, for someone who really grew up with TNG, right? It was on for 7 years, and so like from like a younger child to like a teenager is like these these people were in my living room every week. Like
That's
we know this guy.
Yes. You know his reaction to like so many circumstances, and then to see him in those movies, he's just another person.
Yeah.
Like
he's still himself in Generations.
Kind of, because he's also like in Generations. It's rough because
fire's the time in which we burn.
And then he weeps, like he just, and I'm like, that's not Picard would never cry like that.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I can't believe that in all of the Star Trek stuff that is referenced or touched upon Picard, we haven't gone back and undone that error of killing the Picards, like of killing Robert and his son in the fire.
Right.
What a fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, Picard's greatest wish is to be in a Dickensian Christmas novel. Like, what?
I mean, you know.
Also, Guinan's Echo. What?
All right.
Alex Cash says my favorite Star Trek movie has to be Galaxy Quest. That was certainly mine for a long time. Galaxy Quest is so good. Did you know they were going to make a show? Like they were so close to making a series, and then Alan Rickman passed, and they all were like, "Never mind."
Huh?
I'm like, fair.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fun though, and Galaxy Quest is fabulous.
Isn't it fabulous? Ugh.
It makes so much fun of all these ridiculous sci-fi space tropes.
Yep.
But in such a fun and caring way, right?
Yeah, not like Spaceballs.
Right, which is just like, Spaceballs is just like, have you
seen Spaceballs lately?
It's been a couple of years.
Right?
Yeah.
Me too. But the last time I saw it, it wasn't as funny as it used to be. For contrast, I have seen Blazing Saddles, and it's exactly as funny.
You know what is also not quite as funny, since we're suddenly on Mel Brooks?
Yeah.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
That one was almost never funny.
So me and my friends in middle school, that was like the best movie we'd ever seen.
Right.
Now, do you know what actually is legitimately hilarious? Is Robin Hood Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner and
Alan Rickman.
Yes. But it's not supposed to be funny.
No. I haven't seen that movie in a decade or so.
Now, if you watch that one and then watch Men in Tights, I think it's funny again.
That's fair. Well, because it is so contingent on it being a parody of that movie specifically.
Yes.
That, oh my God. The dude who plays the Sheriff of Rottingham in Men in Tights.
Roger Rees. Yes.
Roger Rees is so great. And
so fucking funny.
I'm a big Christmas movie person, and I love is it George C. Scott's A Christmas Carol, and he plays Scrooge's nephew.
Okay.
So just the only two things I know him from are that and Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just have Men in Tights quotes rolling through my head now. We got to move on.
Dr. J, since Star Wars is probably slowly dying, I shall become a Trekker. Where do I start? Great question, Jason.
Ooh.
Where do you start with Trek? Because we just spent the last half hour talking about how when we got into Trek, it was just whatever. Something was on and we watched that and it.
Right. And no, it's you're right. That's actually a hard question because now there have been probably thousands of hours of Trek available to watch at a moment's notice.
Right.
And I think I would still recommend for people to jump into TNG.
Yeah.
I think it's the most accessible. And I think in some ways, this is going to get me in trouble. It's the most pure Trek. In that it exemplifies the post-scarcity society.
Yeah.
It exemplifies what we could become.
Yeah.
Without
being pessimistic,
without being preachy about it,
cynical.
without being, it's a very, very optimistic show.
Yes, because I think that like you need if you're gonna like the reality is if you like hard-boiled sci-fi or you like science fiction in general, that
Mhm.
is to say it shines a light on an aspect of civilization or society through the lens of fun spaceships and
Mhm.
stuff, then Deep Space Nine is probably going to be your pick.
Right.
But Deep Space Nine is the antithesis of Roddenberry's vision, and
A little bit. Yeah.
Roddenberry's vision is also kind of silly because Roddenberry himself is not without his own flaws.
Mhm.
Like Roddenberry is also like hypersexualized and kind of a misogynist, and like
Mhm.
there's a lot of things about it. Like, but the purity of like a moneyless society, of like self betterment, of exploration, like these are the
Mhm.
tenets that make Star Trek, for me at least,
Yeah, yeah,
work
yeah.
and attractive.
And
And TNG is like the example
right.
of like we've
And that
made it. Like
right.
Picard, literally, when he encounters Q for the first time, he's like, oh, like your argument is invalid. We've already reached it. And it's like Deep Space Nine is like, thanks to us. Like,
Right.
thanks to
Now
us selling our souls to the damned. And it's like, no. So don't watch Deep Space Nine first.
yeah,
But if
no,
you're like,
definitely watch Deep Space Nine because that is absolutely fabulous.
right,
And
but
when people ask me, what is your favorite Trek series,
it's
which is not the topic of this podcast, I
right.
say it's either TNG or DS9, depending on the day.
Right. Yeah. How do you feel
Because
about the world?
how do you feel about
What
the
are you
world?
looking
Because
for?
Deep Space Nine is great. And as much as I love Picard,
Yeah.
I love Cisco. Like,
Right.
I think Cisco is actually my favorite captain,
Oh.
mostly because I really identify with his leadership style.
That's fair. I
Um,
I like it. I like Picard's. I like Picard's more, but only I like watching it more. Cisco, I'd
yeah,
rather have as a captain, but I
yeah, yeah,
like to watch Picard work.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But
Pop Culture Guy is an interesting point. Oh, so yeah, TNG. Watch TNG, and I say watch TNG and the original series movies,
yes,
and then
absolutely, yes,
see where you go from there.
right.
And out of all of the Paramount Plus shows, I would recommend Strange New Worlds only because I hear it's really good.
Yeah, I
But
haven't seen it yet.
I
Yeah,
think it's only really good probably against the setting of all the other shows being so fucking bad. Like I
yeah.
really can't stand the cartoon. I have watched a scene or two of the CG cartoon, which I think is better, but what does that mean? Like again,
Right.
it's set against like the current new Trek that we
Mhm.
get, and it's like it's made by people who don't understand like why it's here, you know?
Right.
Like
Right.
clearly the Kelvin timeline 2009 Trek movie is made by a guy who hasn't yet made The Force Awakens. This is a guy who's like, they won't let me make Star Wars, so I'll make Star Trek. And it's
Right.
like,
Like,
that's not that.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah,
no.
please, no. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would, I think
Yeah.
that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
and then things that you could watch like I would recommend trying to watch some of the original series just because it's like it's where it all started,
mhm.
right? The
And there's
problem is
some cute stuff in there. Like,
there's some really good stuff in there, but like if you're gonna watch the original series, like go online, find a list of like the top 10 episodes and just watch those.
dude,
But then you'll
you know
get
what
like
you do? Watch the episode of Futurama where they go to the planet with Melvar, because he will list the episodes to
oh,
watch.
there you go. There you go.
Because like over and over again, I watch them, especially the ones with the energy beams. And it's like, I remember talking to you about it. You're like, yeah, the ones with the energy beams are really good. Like, you could skip the cartoon show.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
have
know.
that on DVD. I've never watched it. It's been sitting in the shrink wrap for years.
Yeah, I don't care for late 70s animated versions of my space operas.
Yeah.
The original series, Droids. Droids
Yes.
is so terrible.
Is it? I've never seen an episode.
I thought I made you watch some of it, but
No, no. I think
I've definitely
showed me
watched it.
the intro several times. I've never actually been into an episode.
I've sat and watched full episodes of that show,
Mhm.
and it sucks on toast. It is so frustrating. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
Pop Culture Guy. has a defense. He says Picard was acting out of character because trauma doesn't always go away, even after years of therapy. He was having a whole movie-length PTSD attack. Why doesn't anyone get this? Agree about his family killed off, though. If you think Picard was actually getting therapy at any point, I think you missed the point of Picard. Like, I think Picard had, I think it went to mandated moments with Troy. Number one, Troy's a terrible therapist. Like, do you remember that episode?
But Captain,
I'm sensing a lot of hostility from that from that Klingon. Well, I'm glad you're going to tell us these things. Riker, take the professor and plug her into the hyperdrive. I remember that episode where she's like, "Oh, I can't have psychic powers anymore. That means that I'm basically worthless." And then everyone's like, "Actually, like, living with a disability is like not a death sentence." And she's like, "Shut up! You don't understand what it's like." And then Guinan's like, "I want your job." And I'm like, "Oh my god, Guinan would be an amazing counselor,
right? Wouldn't she be great?" It's like, actually, yeah. Wait, yes, let's do that, please.
Yeah, let's fix your telepathy or anything, but no, you're still fired.
Right.
But no, I understand the idea of like all of Generations, and I guess also First Contact being about Picard's PTSD. If that's the case, he becomes a completely different person afterwards, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And behind the scenes, Patrick Stewart gets more control over his character, and he wants to drive ATVs and like be more of an action star and like take his shirt off and stuff. And that's why we don't let actors write these things.
Yeah.
That's why Picard sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's because like he's a producer on the show.
So it's interesting because sometimes that does work.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it doesn't.
Right.
Like there's certain actors who can really pull that off, like Edward James Olmos, for example. Like when he appears in a thing, it's because they've given him a lot of creative control over the character.
Interesting.
And he fucking nails it every time.
Right. Edward Norton's one of those people. And some middling results.
Yeah. Sometimes it's okay, but yeah.
Yeah. Rafe Barr says, "Start with Picard." Cry. Don't start with Picard.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, so getting into like
right.
So I think if you were to look at the spectrum of Star Trek movies, starting with the motion picture and ending with, I guess Beyond, Star Trek Beyond.
Right.
What's the favorite?
It's easy to want to say Khan.
Right.
And Khan is great.
It is so good.
It's so good. I think that 6 is actually my favorite, though.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Because
it's just like all the elements come together. It's just like production-wise, that movie is tight.
Yep.
Like there is not a wasted moment in that movie.
That's true. That's true.
And some of that has to do with like the way they made that movie.
Oh yeah.
Where they basically, it was the TNG production crew on summer hiatus. They're like, well, we're going to do a fucking movie. It's going to be Star Trek 6. Boom, done.
Yeah, well, that's why you see like the engine room from TNG repurposed as other things.
Right. Yeah. And there's just so much about it to like, right? There's like, so there's like the conspiracy thing, but like, good triumphs at the end of the day in like a very real way. Right.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the culmination of the camaraderie and the history of these characters. It's definitely their send off. Like we're not meant to see them ever again after this.
Right. But yeah, just kind of everything about it is amazing to me.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. If you look at like everything about it, like you've got the cast, which not just the original crew, but also bringing in Christopher Plummer as Chang. You have Chancellor Gorkin.
Right. He's cool.
Yeah, he's amazing. He plays Ra's al Ghul. David Warner. You've got Kim Cattrall as obviously supposed to be Kirstie Alley, but isn't, and not like the way that the other actor was supposed to be Kirstie Alley. So what I'm saying is, like, they brought in a character. What the hell is her name originally?
So
Savick?
So the Kirstie Alley and Robin Curtis character was named Savick.
Yes.
And then the Kim Cattrall character was Valeris.
Who should have just been Savick.
Should just been another Savick because it's Spock's protege. Like,
yeah.
Which if they had kept Valeris, just name her Savick, please. That would have made her betrayal just so much more gutting.
Absolutely.
Because she's so great and wonderful in like 2, 3. Yeah. But
yeah. Well, because by 3 they're like, I don't know what we're doing. Because 2, she's gonna replace him. That's the whole point.
Right.
And then he dies. So it's like she has to replace. With 3, they're like, well, I mean, we're not replacing you, so we have no place for you now.
Right.
Now, what was it? Kirstie Alley just had to come back for Cheers or something? Like, what was her decision?
I don't remember why she didn't. I have looked this up and I have read about it. And there's something about she just like, for whatever reason, she just didn't want to do it.
That sucks.
and she has come back and said that she regrets that. She's like, no, I should have done that. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah. Did you now? Speaking of Kim Cattrall and her portrayal of whatever the hell her character name was, I don't remember.
Valeris.
Valeris, thank you. Not only do I love her portrayal and the way in which she like plays that character, because she's so like stoic and and she's a fun actor. But as I understand it, she also did a nude photo shoot on the bridge of the Enterprise.
This is news to me.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
No, but you'll excuse me. I need to do some research.
She, as I understand it, in her uniform, like in her outfit, she kept the headgear, but like lost the rest, and did an unsanctioned photo shoot on the bridge.
Wow.
And Leonard Nimoy found out, and he was very unhappy about it.
I'm sure, yeah.
As I've heard the story goes, he destroyed the film, and like barred her from stuff. I don't know, like you'll never work in this town again, sweetheart. That kind of thing. He was just like you are. It was like you're ruining the sanctity of this of this production, and it's like, come on, can you imagine like how much more profitable Star Trek 6 had been if there was also like a sexy Girls of Star Trek calendar that they released?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, Kim Cattrall, reportedly she did a nude photo shoot on the set. I'd heard that years ago, and I was like, cool.
Wow.
And Leonard Nimoy was super not happy about it.
Yeah.
It was like, damn it, Nimoy.
So it's like 6 and then 2, just because that's just a fabulous movie.
Yeah, well, aren't they both Nicholas Meyer?
What?
They're both directed by Nicholas Meyer.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because like after Shatner directed 5, they were like, okay, we need to fix this. Get the guy from Khan.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, man.
But then I was going to continue ranking, but
please, no, good.
Yeah, but then I actually think 5 is my third favorite. This
is very similar to my list. Because I love 5.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sybok is such a great character. Like,
people said Sybok is the worst. Like, that's what I'm finding out is people are like, they hate Sybok. And I'm like, he's so good.
He's great. Just, yeah. Wow. Okay. I had never heard that before, that people hate Sybok.
Yeah, no, they hate him. And they're like, he is such a lame character. And I'm like, what? I'm just remembering that moment where he goes, he's my brother. He can't be a brother because I happen to know for a fact you don't have a brother. Every once in a while I will pull up the sequence in 6 when they bring in Spock to address the Federation about the fact that the Klingon Empire is dying.
Yeah.
And just that sequence is just so great. It's really well shot, and it's so all the history with these two characters on display. Where he's just like, I know your father's the Vulcan ambassador for heaven's sake, but you know how I feel about them.
No, but my favorite interactions. I have personally vouched for you in this matter, Captain.
You personally vouched. Very Shatner. It's like he's leaning into it. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
but like really appropriate in that moment. He's
completely.
Like,
Yeah, what? And it's like, and I
Are you
guess
freaking kidding me?
that's some really good acting because it's like Nimoy is, or it's like Spock is going, you have to get over this, and I'm
Right.
forcing you to deal with it.
Yes.
But that moment on his face where he just goes, when he goes, you know, we've done our bid for king and country, and he leaves, but or no, he looks at him, and Spock has this look at his face, and I want to say it's like this. I have such respect for you. Why are you acting like this? It's like if you know, if it's like a friend said something that was off color, and you were like, I know you better than this. Why would you say something like that? It's just that look of like what? Why are you acting like this? But yeah, no, that's solid. So 6.
Yeah. 6, and
2,
it's also hard because I tend to really segment the movies into original series movies, TNG movies, and then new universe movies.
Well, you have to, right? But at the
Right,
same
'cause it's
time, I
really
also
hard
don't
to
have
compare
any
them all.
regard for them.
Well, that too, yeah. Like the outside of, I've watched Generations a number of times because it's okay.
Yeah.
And you know, we get to see some fun things happen. Especially with the Enterprise B, you know, I like that opening segment is fun for me.
Oh yeah, it is fun, and yet also like tragic because
Yeah.
how many people wouldn't come back? They're like, no, and it's like they didn't even ask Nichelle. Like, why isn't Nichelle Nichols on there? It's not like she was busy.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the captain.
The captain, yes. The other thing about that movie that really annoys me is the same reason I don't like 1 and maybe other ones. It's the whole idea like, hey, we're at Earth and there's a threat and we're the only spaceship around.
How can we be the only? We're the heart of the Federation.
Goddamn Starfleet.
Like Saturn.
We're the only ship.
Legions of shit. Starfleet is built there. Yeah. No.
We're the only one.
Yeah. No, we are not the only ship in range.
Yeah. But I've seen Generations and I've watched First Contact a number of times, and the rest of them, it's Nemesis and it's Insurrection. I think I've seen them once, and would I ever watch these again?
Yeah, no, I've seen Insurrection once or twice, and I've seen Nemesis half a time. Like I've seen it enough scenes to go like, yeah, no, I don't need this. I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, and then in the new generation movies, I've seen them all like once.
Mm-hmm.
And the only one that I thought was like actually decent was the most recent one.
Beyond, yes.
Yeah, that one was actually, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's getting there. Like the first one I liked a lot, and it's only because of how well like it is like a well-oiled machine. Like that movie is just like off the assembly line. It is sleek, it is sexy, and it will never last more than 50,000 miles. Like you're just like, oh, this is a really fun ride, and then it just completely falls apart after the first.
Got your like we've made the Maserati of movies.
Yes. No, Trek 09 is the Maserati. I think I quote it more than most Star Trek movies, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, because Nero is so stupid, and I love saying his stupid lines. You know? just every time I see Spock, I go, Spock! Because he's always yelling Spock, and he always wants to kill him, but never does. And then, like...
Spock.
Common Flux, which is Ben from the show, says, I want a bi-weekly or monthly episode of Comic Pop Nights with Sal and Jason, and then hopefully Tiffany and Ethan too. And how about Ben?
Right, why not Ben?
Yeah, especially Ben. But yes, I would like that too.
Yeah.
Well, we're working it out.
Yeah.
Girk Pectus, Voyager is more tolerable if you think of Janeway as a complete psycho and Neelix as a saboteur.
Okay. Can I riff on Voyager for a bit?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I watched Voyager every episode when it aired. As it came out, I watched every week. I watched this show hoping that this week would be better than next week. And I remember being disappointed every week.
7 seasons that show lasted.
7, I know. But I have a very fond memory of it, right? But I watched it once through when it aired, and that was it. It's like, done.
Yeah.
And then about a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna. Oh, you know what it was? I didn't watch. I caught an interview with Kate Mulgrew, or maybe it was like I was reading something, and she was like, Well, my favorite episode is Counterpoint, and she gave all the reasons that Counterpoint is your favorite episode, and blah blah blah. Blah. I'm like, I'm not doing. I'll go watch Counterpoint. I'm like,
Right.
that was a good episode. And then the next one, and the next. So I've made my way through probably most of season 4 and 5 at this point,
Okay.
and I'm gaining a new appreciation for Voyager. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Right.
I do remember back in the day, the 7 of 9 character just pissed me off like a lot. I was like, this is stupid. It's become the 7 of 9 show. I don't care.
Yes, that's exactly what they did. Yeah.
And that, but they rolled back on that to the last few seasons, thankfully.
Okay.
And it's a much more balanced show again.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me now, where I really appreciate, is the interaction between Janeway and 7 of 9. Now that I have children, I find they're having these conversations. I'm like, I have had that conversation with my 10-year-old. Are you kidding? This is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's still like, the problem is like coming off of TNG and then coming off of DS9 and then Voyager, like,
well, and Voyager is like another TNG.
Right, it's another TNG, but it's not quite as good.
Right.
It's like the B-roll of TNG.
Yeah, well, because it's the pitch is just like it's TNG, but they're lost in space, and it's like,
right, it's
like they're encountering things you've never seen. I'm like, isn't that the whole mission of the Enterprise?
Right, yeah. But yeah, no, it's okay. And like, I always did like Janeway as a captain. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
And there's some characters on the show that are cool, some, but yeah, overall, like Voyager, it's still a product of the golden age of Trek. Let's say.
Right. It still feels distinctly
It
Star
still
Trek.
feels very Star Trek.
Yeah. Although I remember, because I didn't watch it at all, and but I do remember during that time, one of my favorite magazines at the time, Toy Fair, had a 7 of 9 action figure, and they created this like this sketch. And of course, it's the same people who made Robot Chicken eventually. So you can imagine what the jokes are. But like the joke was that the producers kept coming in and making 7 of 9 like put on like a different, more skimpy outfit. They're like, okay, this week you need to eat this banana, but very slowly, and it's just like it got more and more like you got
inappropriate. Yes,
it just got more and more inappropriate, and it's more like exploitative, where they're like, people are watching this show because because Jerry Ryan is attractive,
right?
And so for me, I dismissed Voyager because I was like, there's no integrity to the show because they recognized it, and then by the way, like Star Trek is a very like Roddenberry's a horny dude who really wanted like a lot of horny stuff happening in these shows. Like I cite any episode in TNG where 2 women are talking to each other. Because they never pass the Bechdel test. They're always talking, like if ever they walk into the room, they're always talking about some dude, or their feelings. Like there's always this scene, and I hate it every time when I see Troy and Crusher talk to each other, because all they do is like eat ice cream and work out together. They
do work out a lot together, and
talk
about men while they're working out.
Right. And I'm just like, oh my god! And I remember like the one where Crusher fucks a ghost, and she was like,
thinking of that exact episode right now. Yes.
Yeah, where she and I'm like, they're talking to each other on 10 forward, where she's like, I have to tell you, I was reading my grandmother's journal, and it's quite erotic. And I'm like, nothing about this is sexy. I know.
Stop!
What you're trying to do, and it's having the exact opposite effect. And also, I'm watching Star Trek. I'm not here to be turned on. Now, as I understand, Star Trek is very much a sexual awakening series for many people of different types.
Is it? I was not aware.
Oh, yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Pop Culture Guy 3000 says, as many problems that Discovery had in its first 2 seasons, it was never boring in its first 2 seasons. The first 2 seasons of TNG are often boring. Well,
that's fair.
That's fair.
Actually. The first season of TNG. Okay, yeah. Dude earlier who I recommended watch TNG. The first season's rough.
Yes,
it's rough.
I'd say the first season and a half is pretty rough. Like it's rough.
Pretty rough. Like there was a lot of recycled plots from the original series. They had no idea what they were doing. The costumes were weird. The lighting on the bridge was just bizarre.
Yes.
There's like production things and and it really took them a while to about halfway through the second season. You're right. All of a sudden, they found it mostly.
But there are episodes from season 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're okay.
Still good.
They're still good. They're still good. But like when season 3 comes along, it's like they've hit their stride and they got it.
When the show grows the beard, which is an actual now TV term about like how when it reaches maturity and understands what it's supposed to be. You've heard the story that Riker tells, that Frakes tells, where he's like, we took off for a bunch of time. I came home or came back to production. I had this beard because I had to shave every week, and so I grew this beard. And Roddenberry said, "Oh, keep the beard. It's very nautical." He goes, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but I listened to him, and it served me well. And I'm like, yes, it keeps the jawline, which
which you needed.
You can't live on girdle alone. You need something else.
Poor Riker.
I saw a great interview. It was like a panel that Riker was doing, that Frakes was doing with his crew, with everybody. Everybody's on the stage, they're talking. And he's talking about action figures when they first made the action figures for them. And he was at some convention; they were all available. Like here they are. And it's like he's like, here's all these figures. Like you can get these collectibles. Captain Picard, $50. Data, $45. Across the board, all the Wesley Crusher, the Geordie LaForge, and then at the end of the table, there's a little sign: buy any member of the bridge crew, get Riker free.
Oh no! Oh no!
I don't know why. I love Riker. Riker is another thing I found out people don't like Riker.
This is news to me because I was thinking about this a few months ago, and I was thinking about like who was my favorite character on TNG.
Yeah,
and like it kind of used to be LaForge because he's like the mechanic, right? But like he's like he's a little off-putting socially.
Big time.
Right?
And also, the show hates him.
Yeah.
Like, this dude, all he wants is just a girlfriend, and they're like, fuck you.
Right.
Geordie LaForge. Here's your mom. Oops, she's dead again.
Right. Oh, my God. Here's a hologram. Here's a hologram who you've, like, violated by.
Here's a hologram you can have sex with. Oop, the real one just showed up. And she checked your browser history. That's the worst.
My gosh.
That might be more cringe-inducing than Scott's Tots. Is watching.
That is awful.
That is watching that doctor find his porn stash, and
of
herself, and being like, "I am outraged by this." I'm like, that is so subdued.
Right. Yeah. No.
She is 100% in the right, and. That episode is like, no, she's mean.
It's like, no.
Like, no. She's right to be upset.
Oh, yes.
She doesn't get the context, but also you have to understand, Geordie's a very lonely man. But yeah, it used to be Geordie.
Used to be Geordie. I've always liked Picard. I've always liked all of the characters, right? But I'm like, I think Riker's my guy on that show.
Yeah.
Right? He's cool. He's in charge.
Yeah.
He's smooth.
Yeah, he knows what he wants.
He knows what he wants, and he's very, very good at his job.
Yes.
He is I think he's the best first officer.
Oh yeah.
That we've seen. He's got it, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's incredible. No, I hear people they're like, no, he's not the best first officer.
Well, who is? So I can tell you how wrong you are.
Fucking the guy who played Dick Jones in RoboCop. God, I can't remember his name. Ronnie Cox.
Okay.
Who's a great character actor. He's been in Total Recall, RoboCop.
Yeah.
On Stargate. Like, he's a terrific actor, but he's the guy who like shows up and like because Picard's busy. I think he's on. I don't remember where the hell Picard is, but he's busy. And so he comes in and he's like, "I hate you. Get the hell out of here."
Yeah,
and then like I think he makes. I don't remember who the hell he makes his first officer, but he's the guy who's like, counselor, what are you wearing?
Right. Yes.
And like shames her so much, she always wears a uniform from that day up until the movies. Like, but like, yeah, people like him. People like that guy. And I love that sequence between the two of them where he's just like, I think you're a terrible first officer, and I don't like you. And then Riker's like, well, since the ranks have been dropped,
Right.
you've got this ship wound up tight as a drum, and everyone's ready to freak out. I don't think you're a very good officer. Yeah, it's great. Then ask me. Will you fly the mission? Yes. Oh, great moment. Yeah, it's delightful. I think Picard is my favorite character. I know it's very cliche to say, but I love watching Picard work.
Oh yeah, but just watching Patrick Stewart work is, at that point in time, was
the height of his craft. Like
was a pleasure, right?
Yes, so
and
great.
And some of my favorite scenes are when eventually they were like, "Here's 2 pages, go," and he's like,
yes. Right. Oh well, I can do this in my sleep. It's Oh, the scene with the Shellyak where they're like negotiating and they're trying to move these people, and he's just like, pursuant to subsection 4, paragraph B. Oh God.
I can't remember what episode it is, but there's some episode where he is on a shuttlecraft with Wesley. They're going somewhere together. Mm-hmm. And the whole episode is I feel like I could be misremembering. It's basically just them in the shuttlecraft with Picard talking the entire time. And I'm there for it the entire time. Like,
there's a B plot, and you're just like, cut away.
Stop! I want to see Picard. Picard, please, I'm here for you.
Teach me more.
Yes.
Secret wish, Dad. Like, show me more about the ways. Yeah, I think. By the way, to answer the question at the end of the day, my ranking, I think.
Oh yes, this is important.
Is 4, 2, 6, 5.
4, 2, 6, 5. Okay.
And then who cares about the like? I don't care. Like, I think I like the Kelvin, like the first Kelvin movie more than 3 because it's just very watchable. I can watch that movie anytime. It's not a great movie. It's not even a great Star Trek movie, but I can watch that movie anytime. Like, kudos to the Kelvin cast because I think they're all really good.
Yeah.
Like, I think they nail it, and I think their camaraderie is like, it's not great, but it's supposed to be early, and I am very sad that we don't get more. And I love Carl Urban as Bones.
He is fun. Yeah.
I think that Zachary Quinto's Spock is really good too. Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. And as much as I don't care about Chris Pine, he's really good. Like, he's a good actor. Like, he can. His physicality really works. I know people think that Kirk is a really physical captain, but he's really not. Like, he's not. Like, they're always like, Kirk will be the first one to throw a punch. And I'm like, is he?
He has that reputation,
right?
But when you watch the show, it's not that prevalent.
No, he's pretty. Like, I remember, what episode was it? Was it the Tribbles episode where he's like, he like throws he calls a line and he like dresses everybody down for the fight with the Klingons in the commissary.
It's been so long since I've seen that. I have nothing useful to offer you.
It's a solid episode. And then, by the way, if you are a big fan of Deep Space Nine, you might enjoy the episode where they go back to that episode.
Yes.
Which is easily the first episode of Deep Space Nine I saw because I remember the making of that they put on TV. They were like, they're like, we're doing this and we're using computer technology. And I was like, wow,
computers.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that first movie is endlessly watchable, whereas the second movie is endlessly depressing. You hated it. I remember when we first watched it. You were like, Star Trek Into Darkness. You were like,
is that the one with Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I get like it's very much a post 9/11 kind of movie.
Okay, yeah.
They're trying to say something about like terrorism and violence begetting violence, and it's like, yeah, but I saw Munich. I don't need to see this. Like,
oh God, there was a movie. Anyway,
I remember we saw that in theaters.
We saw that together.
Like, gee willikers, does violence beget violence, Steve? Thanks for the morality play. I only read about it every fucking day in the newspaper. Like,
yeah, no, like that movie just, I like Benedict Cumberbatch. Whatever the hell you say his name?
Yeah, that's it.
I like him, but
not as Khan.
That was not the right role for him.
No.
You needed someone just. I don't know what's the right word, and that's one where I can't not think about Ricardo Montalban. I mean, he just had such gravitas, right?
Oh, great. And that's one of those things where it's like, he's fun in that episode. But in the movie, he's like, I get another chance.
Right.
And I'm going to go for it.
And it's...
Yeah. And he does. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
I would... Oh, God. What's his speech? Crap. He tasks me. And I shall have him. I'll circle round the Bandai, the Maelstrom, round Perdition's flame before I give him up. Oh, good stuff. But yeah, Trek into Darkness is not great. Beyond is, I remember liking it, and then I watched it again like a week or two ago, and it's not great at all.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty. There's a great. No.
I saw it once. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
It's fine. You know? But yeah, Bones is great. From what I understand, I heard Leonard Nimoy thought that Carl Urban did the best job. He was like, "You are doing DeForest proud, man." Like,
yeah,
that's awesome. That moment in the shuttlecraft where he's just like, I got nothing left of the divorce, and all I have left me were my bones. I love that line. I think that's so funny.
Great line. That is a great line.
And it's like, because we don't know why he calls him Bones. I love that he calls him Bones, because it's like, you're bitching and moaning on the way to the Enterprise, but how your wife left you nothing but your bones. It's so funny because it's just so grizzled.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, that is a great little bit of origin for.
Yeah, like that was worth it.
Yes.
Not much else, but yeah. And I love 5 because I endlessly quote it. I can't help but notice your pain. My pain. It runs deep. Share it with me, Cocoon. What does God need with a starship? You watch that movie just to get to that scene.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
That whole sequence is amazing. And I love it because apparently they didn't go far enough. Like, Roddenberry was a staunch atheist who was just like, no, there is no God. Like, and everyone was like, no. You can't make a movie where you say, like, you can't make a movie for everyone that says fuck God.
Right. Yeah. That's not gonna go over well.
It's gonna fly. Like, and yet, like, they kind of do.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
Certainly Kirk feels that way.
Certainly.
Immediately, God, he's like, no. Fake. Sick Hunt McGee says, love you guys so much. Been watching for years. Thoughts on Orville? I know the first 2 seasons were a bit jokey, but the new season is just pure old Star Trek goodness. As I understand it, Seth MacFarlane is a like crazy Star Trek fan, and I'll bet tried to just get on Star Trek in some way, and they were like, no. And then was like, what if I just made Star Trek? And they were like, I mean, as long as you make it distinct enough, yeah. And he was like, okay, and made that. I have only room in my heart for one Star Trek parody series, and that's Galaxy Quest. I'm not interested in watching a series of not Star Trek. Yeah.
Like I haven't seen it myself, but I have heard that it's just like if you just pretend like it's Star Trek, it's great. And I'm like, right.
Yeah, it's like Stanley soda. If you just close your eyes, it might taste kind of like RC Cola. Like, no.
Like, I'm not opposed to watching it someday. It just hasn't come across my.
It would be like if somebody said, like, dude, there's this great movie, and it's about this time traveling robot that's trying to kill this woman because she's going to give birth to save your humanity. It's called The Exterminator, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'd be like, I'm good.
The Exterminator? Yeah. No thanks.
Like, I'm good. I don't need a thing that looks and sounds a lot like the thing I want.
Oh God, I have a coworker who did this to me. This was pre-pandemic. I can't remember the name of the freaking movie.
Okay, we'll describe it. We'll get there.
It was basically Alien, but bad.
Was it? Oh God, was it Pandem? Yeah. Okay.
It was the space station, and the alien comes and it kills everyone, and it was bad.
Yeah.
Like, but it was like it could have just been the same plot.
It was Pandorum.
I don't remember. Damn.
It was Dennis Quaid in it.
I literally don't remember.
Okay,
'Cause I like blocked it because it was so stupid.
that's fair. Yeah, I don't want to watch Alien that isn't Alien.
Right? Yeah, just like
I'll just see Alien. Andrew Forrester says, "Hey Sal, weird question, but does watching the ads all the way through help the channel? Kinda, but like, I wouldn't stress over it. Like, you can hit the skip button. It's okay. Like, but you don't have to watch it all. If you want to, if you got something else, if you can just play it and walk away, like that's cool. But don't you don't have to watch them. Like, they're not checking your eyeballs yet.
right. There's no quiz at the end.
Yeah, you could just run it and it's fine. But thank you, Dex Baker, for your super sticker. I can't show it because it's this thing only does so much. Girk Pectus, who do you think is the best Star Trek villain? For me, Dukat is easily. A show is good when they make you feel bad for a space Nazi.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's I really liked Khan because he's like he's fun and engaging and like he's predictable in a way where you're like I know what he's going to do. Like I can follow because I know the character so well because of what he's displayed on the screen.
Right.
I don't think they've given us a good villain in the Kelvin timelines. Like that's out.
Right.
I don't think there's any good villain in the TNG movies. Like Shinzon sucks.
Movies, yeah, not in the movies.
The skin graft guys are lame.
Yeah.
The Borg Queen might be the best one because she's an actual villain because Soren is garbage.
Yeah, he's not great. In the TNG series, I mean, is Q a villain?
No.
A little bit.
Is the Great Gazoo a villain in Flintstones?
I suppose not.
Is Scrappy Doo a villain? No, I love Q. No, Q might be my second or third favorite character of TNG.
Yeah, no, he's great.
I don't think Q is a villain. I think he wants to be a villain. But he has too much. But he's attracted to Picard and crew because he has like a connection with them. Like that's who he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I think I think the Q Continuum are villains, and I think he is like their morality, just in spite of himself. I think. Who's a great villain? But they don't come. Tomalak, the ambassador.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. Great. He's never used he's in like 3 episodes. He's great, but not
used well. Yeah, that's one of the problems with like the TNG is like the villains are very you get to see them once.
Yeah, but when they come back, you're like, oh,
yeah.
David Warner's Cardassian was great in There Are Four Lights.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's a great thing. But yeah, so like Dukat, I agree. Dukat is fabulous. Like I really enjoyed that character's arc through the whole series.
Yeah.
But that's why he's great because he was able to have an arc through the whole series. Right?
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, and like Voyager didn't have any good villains. It was all stupid. Not stupid, but it was just very like
it's villain of the week. If at all,
No, sorry. Chaotica, best villain in Voyager.
I'm sure Tiffany's very excited to hear that. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the original series movies. I like General Chang because he's just like we're the remnants of the old world, and I just want his Shakespeare's a bit much.
A bit much.
Especially when he says it in inopportune times that don't make sense, like to be or not to be. What?
Why
hey, you're misquoting it. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Voyager's not really a villain.
No.
It's just a force.
Yeah.
I guess sort of like the other giant probe that shows up in 4 for the whales.
Yeah, they're not a villain.
Cybok's a villain.
Cybok's a great villain, but also he doesn't think he's the villain, which is also a great arc of a villain.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah. I guess he's not really a villain, but he's definitely the antagonist. Yeah, he's definitely the antagonist. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like this. This is interesting. Pop Culture Guy says Geordi was supposed to be gay.
Huh.
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that either.
Oh shit! Tiffany but anyway, he says so. His girlfriend plot lines are even worse in hindsight. Berman was hugely homophobic. Glad he gone. I'm not surprised. Fuck you,
Yeah.
Rick Berman.
Yep, that's the right thing to say.
Tiffany reminded me of the villain from the Drumhead. Sati.
Yeah.
She is the Dolores Umbridge of Star Trek of the Star Trek universe. She is so perfect, and I'm so glad she never comes back, because it would be so frustrating. Because like what we've learned in Living and Breathing is that like in TNG, villains like that, when they're revealed to be villains, go away.
Right.
But in our reality, they get reelected.
They double down.
But yeah, no, Seti's amazing. Oh, I've brought down bigger men than you, Picard. I love that when that dude's just like, okay,
Right. We're done here.
We're done here. Okay, you yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other villain I
thinking of,
or sorry, just going back to DS9, just like, you know, the villainous counterpoint to Gul Dukat, right? It was Kai Wynn.
I don't know.
Oh, she was, well, anyway. She was awful, but she was like a stealth villain, right? Because she was supposed to be great, but she was just so awful. Anyway,
worst villain is Tasha Yar's Romulan daughter.
Worst villain is the season 1 episode.
Oh, with the tar monster?
TNG, no, with when the bugs take over.
Brain bugs.
The brain bugs in the Admiral. That's the worst villain.
That sucks. That's great because if you watch it, they think it's amazing. Like, they think it's so amazing, they have to go back to Earth and destroy the head of the Federation and then imply that, like, they're coming.
Right.
Like, it's going to be another big threat. And
the
they were like,
bug people are coming.
Yeah. And, like, the earliest, like, the fucking, the Morse code version of the internet at the time indicated to them, like, they probably went to, like, the next Star Trek convention. They're like, and they're, you know, like, Berman and Roddenberry are like walking around where they're taking a piss of the urinal. They're hearing everybody laughing at them. Did you get a load of those fucking bugs? Did you see his skull when he fucking got fried? And he was like, okay, maybe we should pivot in season 2. Can you imagine if they brought those bugs back?
Oh my god,
man! Now I wish like one of those TNG movies was the bugs.
Also, remember, the Ferengi were supposed to be the main villain in TNG.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't show them for a while. They're like, oh, the Ferengi, they'll pick the flesh off your bones. And then you see them,
right? And they're like, with their stupid whip. You're like,
this is so lame. And then they were like, oh, okay. And then like every once in a while they take over the bridge, and you're like, how does anyone let these guys do anything?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know, but like they later on they use them much better.
Yeah, in DS9, you know, when their name's like Quark and they're interesting.
Right. No, even rolling back when like the one guy like resurrected the Stargazer to trap Picard, right?
Yes,
that's okay. And like, and you know, Ferengi ultimately is how I think we ended up with they kidnapped like Loxana Troy, and Picard has to like,
my love.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to give a Shakespearean soliloquy. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's not Shakespeare. It's someone else.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's not Shakespeare.
No, he says, shall I compare this to a summer's day?
Okay.
Who does that? Is that Shakespeare?
I don't think it's Shakespeare. Okay, but I don't know.
Like, okay, so here's the thing.
Okay,
my girlfriend was a big Shakespeare crazy person, and she would know. Like,
that's just what I was going to say.
No, it was Sonnet 18. No, it's Shakespeare.
Fuck me. Sorry.
No,
sorry, internet. I was wrong.
Yeah. And the only reason why I did it was just to keep the comments from happening. I was like, it is Sonnet. Actually, it's Sonic 18.
Yep. No, thank you.
It could have been I haven't seen that episode in a long time. I've seen it more recently in, of course, the song.
Yes.
The card song. But it'd be funny if it was just he's just remembering random things. It's like 6 sonnets, like across the board. It's like he throws a little bit of Yeats in there. You know, just I don't know. Pop Culture Guy 3000. All the lies JJ told us about Into Darkness is why I don't trust a word he says about his original vision for a Star Wars sequel. Doesn't have a plan. Well, I think Rise of Skywalker indicates. I think the last season of Lost indicates. Dude does not have a plan. Like, no, I don't trust J.J. Abrams as far as I could throw him, as far as developing a universe or an idea.
Yeah.
Kozin says, Jason, was it Life?
Was what Life?
The Alien movie you were thinking of.
No, it was way before that. Okay. I only know it was an older movie because I borrowed it from my coworker on Laserdisc.
Oh. Oh my god!
It was a '90s flick.
That was like Alien.
I'll find. I'll find
pull
the
up the disc.
Yeah.
William Gaza. Ever since back issues, I've been collecting books. Just picked up Batman Demon and Legends of the World's Finest. Thanks, ComicPop. Thank you, William. I'm glad to see that we're selling some books. Yeah. Hell yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, man. Michael Steffen or Steven. Don't forget, every Starfleet admiral is a villain. That's true, apparently.
A little bit, yeah. Although, who is it? Admiral Nechayev?
Yes.
She's all right. Like,
yeah.
Like, I actually like her because, yeah, she's never there to bring good news.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I like the way she plays, and I like how her and Picard play off each other. Just the characters. Like, she's all right.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, the rest of them can go fuck themselves. I don't care.
Yeah, that's right. Monster Man Alex, I hate the AT&T episode where the three people speak for the one guy. It really grinds my gears. Oh my god, the one where they cast an actual like hearing impaired actor to like do the to communicate.
Yeah.
It's like they're dead. They
with his
die.
chorus.
Yes, his chorus. I hated that episode too. That was really
that was not great.
Hey, you know what's a great episode, but also is really weird? Hey! If you were a hot dog and you were starving in the desert, would you eat yourself? That's what that felt like. Speaking of transitions. But that episode where Data goes to the town because they got to move everybody and they won't because they built an irrigation system and they're really proud of it because my dad built it. And the one guy who won't shut up about it is clearly dubbed. And it's like the most obvious it could possibly be. That's also the one where like they don't like technology, but this one lady does, and she wants to bang Data because he's all technology. And it's like, what is happening?
What episode is this?
I just gave you the entire episode.
I must have blocked that one. I don't know.
I couldn't even possibly pull it up. I'm like, Data, irrigation system, TNG. I don't know. I got nothing. It just sucks. Yeah. Oh god, Tiffany just reminded me they want Famke Janssen to come back as for Picard. That guy she married dies, and so she comes back. Like she's the woman who's like she's picked for like trade relations between kingdoms or whatever, and so like she imprints on whoever she's supposed to marry, but she's like really into Picard.
Oh yeah.
Picard. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Now that was an episode.
Yes.
That's like I don't care like if you're a Star Trek fan or not. That is just an hour of great storytelling.
Easily. That no, it's that one, and someone wrote Thine Own Self. It could be that one. Let me take a look. But that
and the name is escaping me. The one where he lives an entire lifetime in the alien.
Oh, The Inner Light.
The Inner Light. Yes, thank you.
The Inner Light makes me weep like I've lost a family member every time.
I know, right? It's so good.
And sometimes I won't know what moment will get me.
Really? Yeah,
like,
interesting.
It's so good. Like, sometimes his wife will return. Like, I love how like sometimes his wife will return. And he says her name, and he's just, or his friend's back to life, and he named his son after him, and it's just, or when he tells her he's ready to have children, but the part that always gets me is when he gets the flute.
Right.
Everyone's gone, and he clutches it.
Right.
Just holds it. Like, I've got it. I have this one piece. Like, I have something left. And I'm like, you better have written this shit down, man, because they wasted an entire probe on you. Just so you could give concerts to girls you're trying to impress. Because that's another episode where he's like, oh, I don't share my music with anyone except for you. Unless you go on away missions, in which case you have to go.
Right. That was so yeah. Like, I guess Picard had only a couple of like love interests, but they were always great. Like
Yeah, they're great.
they always wrote really good like women for Picard. Not that he ever got them ultimately.
No, except for Vaj. I find her
Kind of.
in comic book terms. Vaj is the black cat to Spider-Man to Picard. Like where it's like, you know, there's no long-term relationship here.
Right.
You do scratch an itch for me.
Right.
Like that no one, and then when she comes back and she's on the bridge and he's like, oh no.
Oh.
This is not working. Like
right.
you are ruining a lot that I've built up a kind of mystique around me. I can't have you sitting in the chair.
Right. I can't have my friends know that I have.
Except like when she was there, everyone knew.
It's like, oh, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
All right, Captain.
Yeah. He tells them when he comes back after the Ferengi mess with her, and Troy is like on the bridge. She's like, "Did you enjoy your shore leave?" And he goes,
It's amazing.
Yeah, and then according to Ethan Richmond, she fucks off with Q. Wonder what happened to her. Yeah, Q dropped her ass right back wherever the hell he found.
Oh,
like he's
yeah.
No, 2 minutes in, he's like, okay.
Yeah, they're like flying through the continuum, and she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of hungry." He's like, "Great, let's go to the space diner. We'll stop and have a bite to eat." She's like, "Great, I'm going to use the bathroom." He's like,
God. Oh my God, he left her in a space diner. That's and didn't pay the bill. She goes back. Somebody's got to pay for this. Damn it. We know that they don't end up together and that she doesn't stick around because in Voyager, Q comes back to Voyager and has to have a kid.
All the Q Voyager episodes were so strange.
Yeah.
Especially when like he took Janeway into the continuum and there was like, but it was like a Civil War setting. What is happening? So strange.
Is happening? Oh, Langley says that Q took Vaj to DS9. I did not know that.
Oh, maybe I did know that.
Yeah.
Either way, and he's gone.
Yeah, either way. No, that Space Diner is canon. That's Memory Alpha.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so I guess we could wrap up because we answered the question about 45 minutes ago. But
yeah.
So my favorite's the whales one. I think because it is the best gateway episode. Like, it takes zero effort to acclimate you into the relationship between these characters, and there's so much like humor that is involved with just the circumstances that. And it's a premise you're familiar with. It's time travel. It's just Back to the Future with Star Trek in it. Like, we got to get back to the future. That's literally it. And I love that they're running out of time. Like, just go back to when you left.
Right. Yeah.
Although I will say this, apropos of that episode, in the second season of Picard, they need to go back in time. And they use Spock's sun slingshot calculations.
Oh, that's a cute throwback.
Right? Someone
watched the movie.
Someone watched the most watched movie of the entire series. William Gaza says, sorry off topic, but seeing as it's impossible to find, I'm curious, Sal, do you own Batman Shaman issue 1 with the bat face cover? I do not. I thought I did, but I don't because I wanted to do Shaman and I don't have it. I was like, what the hell is this? I don't have it. So, no. And Girk Pecta says, what's your favorite Star Trek meme? Mine is, it's a fake. I don't know what that one is.
I don't know that either.
I mean, I think the facepalm Picard is, there's a statue of it. Like, I think it's overdone.
Overdone. It's a good one, though. I mean, I think maybe... I think maybe Khan!
Khan! Yeah.
That's a good one.
There's so much that I just quote. Like, my life is Star Trek memes, but not ones that you'd put in a chat.
Right.
You know, I do love. There's a great moment where yeah, no, I was just thinking about when he in Con where he says, "I don't like to lose." Yeah, no, I just quote that. I just quote the show. Like I just quote shows, movies. Doesn't matter. It's all interchangeable.
Yep.
But yeah, man. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Favorite episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have more super chats that I didn't get on?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I didn't get to William. William Gaz had another one. Let me grab him really quick. Where'd you go? I don't see it. No, I'll just read it here. Ever since back issues, I've been collecting books. Just picked up Batman Demon. Yeah, I read that one. Okay.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
God, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Star Trek.
Great. We talked a lot about not the movies, but that's okay.
Yeah. Is there? No, we because we kind of referenced the idea of like any underappreciated gems. Like, 5 is in our top 3.
Right. Yeah.
Both of us. So.
Yeah. Well, that's like, there's a lot of. I find that if there's sometimes when there's a series of things and there's something that is the worst one, why? And maybe it's not. Like, for example, like for you remember growing up, right? This is really off topic. If we need to stop, we can stop it.
No, we're good.
Growing up, like, oh my God, Timothy Dalton is the worst James Bond.
Timothy Dalton is my favorite Bond.
Now that I've been able to, look at these with fresh eyes as an adult, I'm like, these are amazing.
There's only 2 of them, and they're so good.
Yeah.
Should we do a Bond episode?
Ooh.
Because that is a good segue to another episode. But
yeah.
Let us know in the comments down below. Bonds? Favorite Bond? Because I think we could definitely do that, because I do have opinions about Bonds.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. I know you said a very controversial thought to me. Ooh. You bastard, about George Lazenby, and I was like, what?
Right.
And I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, you're wrong.
Well, I can't wait to talk about that with you next time.
That's right. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and of course, we want to thank our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Pop Culture Guy 3000. Can Strange New Worlds save Cybok? Will they try? That's a good question, because Cybok is in this new series.
Is he?
Yes. And I'm like, does he have magic god powers that make people see their fears or whatever the fuck he does?
Wait, how did he get out of...
No. Strange New Worlds is a prequel show.
Oh.
About Captain Pike and
That's
Spock.
Right. That's right. I think I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I remember reading randomly that Cybok was back, and I was like, Cybok? I love that guy. He's great.
He is great.
Yeah, that actor's great. Hang on. No, you know what? Fuck it. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Listen, Jason, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
It was a blast. I'm very glad we got a chance to do this. So hang out with us next time here on the Elseworlds Exchange, and more importantly, here on youtube.com/ComicPop Returns. And we'll see you guys next time. Don't worry, just an extra. We're not, but who knows? Maybe we'll continue this. I made a list of movies that I own, because I was like, what are my favorite movies? And I'm like, I don't think I can remember them all. So I just looked through my movie list, and I was like all the movies I own. And I was like, okay, these are movies that I can talk about. Like, without any prompting, without any research. And I'm sure there'll be some crossover with things you would like to discuss as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't think we'd be able to get away with doing an entire episode on Frank Oz's Little Shop of Horrors movie, but...
Probably not.
But I'd like to try, because I love... Did I tell you I saw that in theaters again? Like, they re-released it like a year or two ago?
Did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Worth it.
We were driving the other day, and the iPod, I was like, hey kids, listen to this. I played the soundtrack for them. My kids, right? Yeah. And they were like, this is great. They've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop. So I'm going to show them.
Soundtrack is addictive.
It's really good. So I'm going to show. I don't know when I'm going to show them the movie, but we're going to have a movie day. I'm going to show them.
Got to show the movie. The movie is perfection, really good. Yeah. And it's got the happy ending, so like it'll be palatable for them.
Yeah, thank God.
The deleted scenes. There is a deleted ending which you can finally see on the Blu-ray. And they released it. They put it out in the movie. Like when it came out in theaters, they put out the true ending.
Oh,
yeah, which is Don't Feed the Plants sucks. The song is terrible, and the ending is dour. My dad played Mushnik in 10 years worth of Little Shop of Horrors production. So like that's how I know that play in any way. And it is, that soundtrack slaps so hard. I'm like, yes, oh God. And that movie nails it. It's perfection. Totally. Plus technical achievement, amazing special effects, like groundbreaking at the time. And if you watch there's a blooper reel on the Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. Frank Oz is the director.
Yes.
When he yells, he sounds like Bert from Bert and Ernie. Or Fozzie, depending on what inflection he's using.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, you have to have more. You have to have more intensity, much more. And it's and Rick Moranis just crying, and he's like, why are you laughing? That's what I sound like. I'm like, you sound like Yoda, man. Like, can you imagine having dinner with Frank Oz and he fucking just goes like.
I can imagine that. Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I would like. I think he's in New York. I should reach out.
Yeah,
he's so great. Out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I did. I texted David Harbour. I should not have done
that. Did you get a response?
Fuck no. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys next time with another episode. So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and all that stuff. So long.
Bye.